I fired my cancer-stricken best friend. I've replayed that conversation in my head 1,000 times, and I would make the same decision again without hesitation. Let me explain what actually happened. Wes and I started our software company together right out of college. 18 years of building something from absolutely nothing. He handled development while I managed operations and clients. We were more than business partners. We were brothers who had chosen each other when our real families fell short. Last January, Wes was diagnosed with stage 3 pancreatic cancer. The prognosis was brutal. Maybe 18 months with aggressive treatment. Maybe significantly less without it. He wanted to keep working as long as his body allowed. I supported that decision completely. Then things started going very wrong. Money began disappearing from our operating accounts. Small amounts at first that could be explained away, then larger transfers that couldn't. I noticed inconsistencies in our financial books that made no logical sense. When I started digging deeper, I found transfers to accounts I had never seen before. Over 4 months, nearly $800,000 had completely vanished from our company. Every single transaction traced back to credentials only Wes possessed. I confronted him at his house on a Sunday afternoon. He was sitting in his living room hooked up to an IV for his latest chemotherapy treatment. He looked like a ghost of the man I had built everything with. I know about the money, Wes. He didn't deny it. He didn't try to explain it away. He just started crying. The full story emerged over the next 2 painful hours. Wes had a gambling addiction I never knew existed. He had hidden it successfully for our entire friendship, masking the signs I should have seen. When he received his terminal diagnosis, something fundamental broke inside him. He convinced himself he had nothing left to lose anyway. He started betting bigger and bigger amounts, desperately chasing the feeling of winning when everything else in his life was losing. The $800,000 was completely gone. Every single penny. Lost to online poker sites and sports betting apps that didn't care if the money they were taking belonged to a dying man with a family. I sat with that devastating information for 3 full days. Wes begged me not to tell anyone what he had done. He promised he would pay it back somehow. He said his life insurance would cover everything when he died. He said firing him now would kill him faster than the cancer ever could. Here's the thing. Nobody tells you about betrayal. It doesn't hurt less when the person doing it is dying. It doesn't make the financial damage any smaller. It doesn't mean you owe them protection from the consequences of their choices. I called an emergency board meeting and told them everything with documentation. Then I drove to Wes's house and handed him a termination letter in person. This is me saving the company from going under completely. This is me protecting the 40 employees who depend on us for their livelihoods and their families. And Wes, this is me saving you from destroying yourself further. He screamed at me, called me every terrible name imaginable and invented some new ones. Told me I was abandoning him when he needed me most in his final months. I let him finish completely. Then I told him about the second part of my plan. I had already called his wife and explained everything about the gambling. Together we had contacted a treatment facility specializing in addiction counseling for terminal patients. I had personally guaranteed his health insurance would remain active through COBRA for his remaining time. And I had quietly set aside a portion of my own company shares to go to his children after he passed, ensuring they wouldn't suffer financially for his mistakes. You're still my brother, I told him through my own tears. But brothers don't let brothers destroy themselves just because the ending is already written. You're going to spend whatever time you have left getting right with your family, not hiding in a gambling spiral that helps no one. Wes lived 11 more months after that conversation. He spent 9 of them in treatment and intensive therapy, finally working through the addiction he had buried for over 20 years. He reconciled completely with his wife. He made videos for his children to watch at future graduations and weddings. He apologized to me so many times I lost count. The last thing he said to me before he died was, "Thank you. Not for the good years of building together. Not for the friendship." He thanked me specifically for firing him. He said it was the first time anyone loved him enough to stop him. I gave the eulogy at his funeral and meant every word.